Hey, Assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will understand about how you can grow your muscle by the increase of the mitochondrial biogenesis. So, what is that? Basically, the mitochondria is very important organelle are present in the cell, which that is important for the oxidative phosphorylation. Mean the oxygen used to produce more ATP rather than the anaerobic respiration from glycolysis and lactic acid fermentation. So basically the organelle, which that is the powerhouse of the cell, which that change the energy currency basically for exchanging of the energy in the form of ATP from the carbohydrate and from the pyruvate, which that is usable for us. So in this way, that is the energy currency which that is produced from the mitochondria is the ATP, but less in the glycolysis. Remember, this ATP is very important for the muscle contraction and the relaxation, mostly relaxation. So in this way, for example, your muscle will contract, so ATP required to hydrolyze the bridge between the actin and myosin bridge, which that is hydrolyzed due to the ATP, and the ATP is used. So basically it is important things, but the secondary things is also important, like the calcium, magnesium and iron, which that is store the oxygen in the myoglobin, which that is also important, but we will discuss in the next video. But in this video we will understand about the biogenesis of the mitochondria. So basically number of the mitochondria present in the cell, single cell, basically is the 1000 and more than 1000. But remember that things, whenever you will hard work and exercise, basically is the running and a lot more, basically too much exercise, intense exercise related to the fast running, which that create the lactic acid fermentation, basically the anaerobic respiration. But our genes, basically our muscle gene, basically which that is not producing enough mitochondria, basically is not producing the enough mitochondria, because mitochondria is less, but you are forcefully increase the respiration, but the oxygen is not present. So in this way, the mitochondria not allowed to produce the ATP because the hypoxic condition, whenever you will run fast. In this way, basically that is the important things, and in this way you should increase the hypoxic shock, and that basically you should run more faster and create the fatigue in your muscle. When you will create the fatigue, it means the lactic acid fermentation is going on, and in this way basically you should create the pain, you should create the fatigue in the muscle, you should break down the muscle fiber. In this way your muscle realize that we have not enough oxygen, so the next time we should oxygen rich, and in this way the next time the muscle will contain too much myoglobin, and for trapping the oxygen as the store in the muscle for providing the oxygen to the mitochondria. So this is the important things. But the hypoxic shock will lead to increase the mitochondrial number also, because the hypoxic shock basically increase the HIF1 alpha, which that trigger the certain type of growth factor during the recovery time. This mitochondrial biogenesis will trigger by this mechanism. But you should fasting and ketogenic diet and sleep. The sleep, fasting and ketogenic diet is too much important than the exercise. So exercise is not important as compared to the but the exercise will trigger the biogenesis of the mitochondria, but the fasting, exercise and ketogenic diet as well as sleep collectively boost the mitochondrial number. How? Because whenever you will energy starvation condition, in this way the PGC1 alpha activation, this PGC1 alpha, which that is triggering of the TFAM protein, basically the TFAM which that is a transcriptional factor a mitochondrial transcription factor, basically which that enhance the biogenesis of the mitochondria and the replication of the mitochondria. In this way the number of mitochondria will increase due to the PGC1 alpha, which that trigger due to the ketogenic diet, caloric restriction, as well as the sleep. So in this way, when the caloric restriction and the ketogenic diet On the other hand, the fasting basically increase the ADP ratio ATP. In this way, the ADP when increased, so our body will sense, our cell will sense, and the sensing mechanism will trigger the AMPK pathway, basically, which that is also enhance the PGC1 alpha as well as the biogenesis of the mitochondria, correction of the mitochondria, and increase the number of mitochondria. Because the electron transport chain, if damaged, so it also corrects due to the PGC1 alpha, and it can be triggered through fasting, ketogenic diet, and the ketones production. So that is all these things which basically prepare the mitochondria and function well the mitochondria. I hope you make sense about that. In this way, whenever the mitochondria biogenesis will increase, it means the number of the mitochondria in the cell will increase. When the number of the number of the mitochondria increase, also the number of myofiber will increase in the muscle. In this way, the number of mitochondria when increase, in this way, basically the mitochondria will basically produce more ATP. That ATP is important for the muscle growth, muscle movement, and get the stamina. And in this way, more consumption of the oxygen to produce more ATP. In this way, the fat burning, the growth of the muscle, the growth of the bones, and the build the stamina, and you will not feel the fatigue after the intense workout. And in this way, you can clear due to the mitochondria biogenesis by this mechanism. The fourth thing, fasting, exercise, sleep, and ketogenic diet with the caloric restriction, basically which that work to improve the mitochondrial number. But micronutrient is also important, but we will discuss in the next video. For this time, we have discussed for 4 things to boost the number of mitochondria and the function of the mitochondria. See you in the next video. For this time, bye. Allah Hafiz.